Alrighty, now they're starting to get real frickin' weird. What kind of a mind can dream up a concept as strange as martial arts restaurant takeout? The idea is, back when takeout delivery was a new idea, the courier would have to learn to defend himself in an uncivilized world full of bandits and barbarians, using what little he has at his disposal: the thermal box, chopsticks, and of course, the food itself. But all the combat means nothing if the comestibles don't arrive at their destination on time, in pristine condition, and still piping hot. Now in the modern world, the art of martial arts takeout has endured and is still practiced by many. Liberally borrowing from martial arts okonomiyaki, the takeout artist can huck around food like the best of them. Some of the flashier moves being Fish Cake Blizzard, and the fearsome Ramen Wrapped Up Noodle Noose. Who ever heard of anything more bizarre? Well, we've got 4 more to go. Every once in a while, Sona and Genma like to sit back and unwind with a friendly, temple-thumping game of Shogi, one of the Japanese variations of chess. But little do they realize there is Shogi out there that stimulates the body as well as the mind. Martial arts Shogi is a lot like the living chess game you'd see at a Renaissance fair. 2 teams duke it out atop a giant Shogi board, each working to defeat and capture the other team's players. So strict are the rules that certain players can only move certain ways depending on their rank. This severely limits the attacks they can do, but with so many targets going all different directions, defending oneself can be murder. When an opponent is defeated, he or she must go to the opposing side and play for their team, which makes for some lopsided bouts. But definitely the strangest part of this martial art is the absolutely goofy dress code. For whatever reason, the combatants must dress up as shogi pieces, making this already doofy martial art even harder to take seriously. But make no mistake about it, those who practice martial arts shogi ain't fooling around. Woo-ha! They got you all in check. This is one of the most meticulous, refined martial arts in existence, but somehow is also one of the most vile and disgusting. Now don't think about that sentence too long, your head will explode. A more violent form of the World Eating Championship, martial arts dining has its contestants start with heaps of fine cuisine on their plates and silverware at the ready. The object is to ingest everything on your plate before your opponent, and be neat about it to the point where you're disqualified if the referee sees your mouth move. What sets this apart from speed eating is the infusion of martial arts, as the combatants are urged to use any means necessary to slow down their opponent. Fork deflection is completely legal, as is force-feeding the opponent food from off your plate. At face value, martial arts dining is as upper crust as croquet and polo, but at the core, couldn't be any more bizarre. Any fighting style where a person has an advantage because of a physical abnormality is to be considered weird as fact and not opinion. A martial art would be pretty sick and twisted if it could only be performed by the sick and twisted. Such is the case with Cat Fu, a fighting style banned for causing severe psychological trauma. Cat Fu is similar to a drunken master style, except substitute alcohol with a very specific fear: ailurophobia, or the fear of cats. When subjected to an excess, the martial artist blacks out, and the only way to deal with the gut-wrenching terror is to become a cat oneself. And have you ever seen a cat fight? There's nothing like it. It's like trying to make sense of a scribble. Mad offensive flurries of kicking, biting, and clawing, moves impossible to read, and speed unheard of. A master of Cat Fu makes mincemeat of his opponents. The pugilists of Cat Fu aren't through with their newfound kitty personas once the fight is over, no. The feline persona will persist, and until the martial artist is somehow snapped out of it, he or she will continue to meow, hiss, and purr just like a cat. An unusual style that's 1 part martial art and 2 parts psychosis. Cat Fu just plain defies explanation. Here it is, the #1 weirdest martial art of Ranma 1/2. It's gotta be martial arts tea ceremony. 2 ideas: martial arts, tea ceremony, that in no way, shape, or form could possibly be combined into one. But oh, say that to Sentaro Daimonji and his grandmother, they'll prove you wrong in a millisecond. It's not unusual enough, the contradiction of the physical disemboweling your opponent and the quiet dignification of serving and sipping gourmet teas. But to compete legally in a match, at least in orthodox style, one must assume the correct position. The position one would use to kneel at a table. The knees must touch or hover slightly above the floor at all times. An expert with fancy footwork can move around in the kneeling position almost as if they were sitting on a skateboard. The matriarch, a martial arts tea ceremony master, can actually ski up walls and even upside down. To attain mastery, one must study hard, practice perfect poise, and fully train every muscle in his body. All to look absolutely ridiculous. From the fighting stance, to the absolutely off-the-wall weaponry, martial arts tea... Hold up, rewind that a tick. She hit the guy with a napkin. A napkin, for crying out loud! That cements it. Ladies and gentlemen, your weirdest martial art of Ranma 1/2.
Oh look, it's tea time!